Okay, so let's get one thing straight. Best thing about this week's episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations is that we get to see Naruto completely shit-faced, plastered, drunk, wasted. Out of context, this scene is really funny. There's something really hilarious about Naruto going out with all of his ninja pals and hitting up every single bar in Konoha Village and just getting completely sloshed, with them having to drag his ass all the way back to Hinata. Within the context of this episode, however, it's actually a plot device, because we are going to be peeling back the layers of time and going back to when Naruto actually became Hokage for the very first time. Now, this might not seem all that exciting to some hardcore Naruto fans, because this week's episode is effectively a re-adaptation of a manga chapter and of an OVA that's already been out for well over a year. For those who have not seen that stuff, this is going to be one hell of an episode. Not to mention, it'll finally make you realize, damn, Himawari, you scary. So the main plot of this week's episode is that Boruto's younger sister Himawari is under the weather. She's not feeling so hot, and Boruto is doing everything in his power to make sure that she is comfortable. We get to learn that, of course, that Boruto is extremely dedicated to his sister, and we get to learn why in this week's episode. That and the fact that he is very frustrated that his father has not come home to see his sick daughter. That's when we get this little flashback sequence where we get to learn what actually happened on the day that Naruto became the Hokage. We get to go through the entire inauguration process, which is to say, we don't get to go through the entire inauguration process, and that's because of the Himawari incident. So the night before Naruto's inauguration as Hokage, he and his friends go out and they have just a wild night. They may or may not have seen some ninja strippers, but he ends up getting a really terrible hangover, sleeping in the next day, and it's up to Hinata to actually go get his ceremonial robe and all the Hokage gear, while he decides to stay home with the kids as they prepare to go to the ceremony. Of course, things go completely wrong, with Hinata realizing that Naruto has not yet arrived, and Boruto and Himawari getting into a fight with one another. Himawari desperately wants to bring this little plush doll with her. Of course, Boruto wants nothing to do with any of this because he knows that his sister is going to get bored of carrying it, he's going to have to hold it, and he's going to be seen in front of all of his friends carrying this big, pink, plushy, dumb-looking rabbit. So they end up getting in a fight with both of them tugging at it, and eventually it gets ripped in half. And this is when the powder keg is set off and Himawari displays her absolutely terrifying side. At such a young age, she is able to activate the Byakugan ability, and she immediately goes for the jugular, getting ready to attack Boruto in a fit of rage, going right for his central chakra points. And luckily, Naruto, at the last second, jumps right in, taking the full brunt of the attack, which quite literally knocks him out for over a day. So the guy who's supposed to become Hokage can't even make it to his very own inauguration. So how are they gonna get out of this sticky situation? Yeah, Konohamaru decides that he's actually going to take over, and he transforms as Naruto, appears in front of all of the people of Konoha Village, and does his damnedest to imitate his very favorite friend. What I do like about this scene is that it's not exactly a carbon copy of the one that we've seen in the manga version or even in the OVA version. We get to see that some of the brand new characters are actually present at the inauguration, such as Iwabe, which I think is really damn cool. We even get all of the key scenes, such as the ones with Sarada, as well as with Cho-Cho. We even get a great scene of Shikamaru, who's trying to just have a damn smoke, but apparently the smoking laws in Konoha Village are not going to be having any of that shit. Konoha is being gentrified! And before that flashback can get too long-winded, it's immediately over, and the rest of the episode is actually a tender father and son moment, where Naruto and Boruto decide to go to his favorite restaurant, Ichiraku Ramen, which, speaking of gentrification, has completely changed. Where it used to be a very humble ramen stand has now turned into a massive restaurant with a giant clientele. Now that Boruto's father is the Hokage, he's very busy all the time, and there's very little time for these little small moments with him and his family. We even get a great scene of Cho-Cho and her father Choji coming into Ichiraku Ramen to have a ramen eating contest because that's just what they do in that family, and Boruto sort of envies the fact that they have such a strong and personal relationship with one another, while he and his father just sort of sit there quietly eating their ramen. However, this scene is really great. I love it because Naruto is really trying to bring Boruto into his world and share a lot of his precious memories with his son. Naruto's had some of his greatest moments at Ichiraku Ramen, and he really just wants to translate that to his son as best as he can, but a lot of that is going to come to a head in the next coming arcs of the series, all of which are going to have to deal with these young ninjas and the relationships that they have with their parents. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations? As I said, damn Himawari, you are scary. You're absolutely adorable, but once her Byakugan eyes are activated, she basically transforms into frickin' Michael Myers mixed with Jason Voorhees. She's pretty damn terrifying, and she's on a mission, too, when she decides to go after Boruto, and it's such a disturbing and creepy scene. The general story is still here and still the same, and a lot of the visuals still hit it home and end up being pretty funny, like when Naruto ends up getting hit by Himawari, not only do you get to see his pain, but you also get to see Kurama's inside of his stomach as well, and they got this big old look on their face that says, holy shit, my daughter just beat the hell out of me, and that's pretty damn humiliating. Another thing that I really loved about this episode is just Hinata herself. She has transformed into one hell of a supermom, and I never imagined that the super soft-spoken girl from the first half of the series would turn into such a fierce and loving mother, and something about that is very refreshing and, of course, very funny. I definitely enjoyed that. I especially loved all the scenes with Himawari in this episode because, like I said, she's really damned adorable, but she's showing a lot of promise this early on in the series, and she's basically just a toddler during this flashback. She's just a cute little girl, but she knocks out Naruto, the hero of the series, with one little punch. Now, you could argue, of course, that he was simply just trying to protect his son and he didn't want to do anything that could potentially hurt his daughter, and maybe he was still suffering from having way too much damn sake the night before. But it's a pretty shocking scene, to say the least, and I'm glad that they finally addressed it, because this is a scene they talked about in the anime version, but they've never really shown, at least until this point, or of course unless you've actually had an opportunity to see that little small piece of animation from over a year ago. The point is, this was basically a nice little pump the brakes moment before we move on to the next arc of the series, which is officially going to kick off in next week's episode. That's right, the Naruto Gaiden Arc is officially going to begin, and it's definitely something that I think all Naruto fans are going to want to check out. I honestly think it's going to have a lot more of an impact than the first arc of the series had, and that's saying nothing against the whole, like, Nue thing and everything with the class rep. It's just, this is something that's actually been adapted from a manga series, and it has more connections to some of the things that we saw from the original Naruto series, so it's going to seem just maybe a little more important, and frankly, I can't wait to see how they're going to animate all of that. What I will say is, despite the fact that this episode wasn't exactly new in a sense, it still managed to be entertaining and surprisingly heartwarming, and fans who want to see more of the Uzumaki family definitely need to check out this week's episode of Boruto, which I am going to give a 4 out of 5. So check it out, Naruto fans. Check it out, Boruto fans. If any of you guys did watch the episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below, and what you hope to see from the next exciting arc of the series. Thank you all so much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things Naruto and Boruto related. Please throw a shuriken right down to that thumbs up button and like this video. Thank you all again for watching. Take care, and as always, stay dandy, baby.